Hello, friends. Hello, loyal audience. It's been a while, but today it's commentary and uh, the Matrix unloaded or dissected. So, be worthwhile. I may or may not hit all the points or explain all the mysteries of it. The hidden hints and so on. But you will get some explanations that you probably didn't see before, and then you can catch a thread, if you will. So the matrix is not what you think it's talking about. It's talking about not what you're thinking it's talking about. What the matrix is talking about is not what you think it's talking about. It's really there are certain personalities in it, and certain dogmas, and certain books, and so on. So let's begin. Sorry for the modest setup, but it's enough to convey the point. So, if you saw those uh, columns of gibberish, they're not exactly gibberish. I don't have the means to decipher them, but they're backward and forward and up and side and down. And then if you do that, right, you will see it makes more. If you put if you reverse it and look in the mirror, you will see that there are numbers that are backward, and you will see other things as well. So it makes sense if you have enough time and certain equipment to decipher it. But yeah, it's got something there. Like for example, if you look at this here, uh, that's a 5. That's not like it's a 5 backward. This is other things as well. Like here, it's 2 backward and so on. So there's something here. So as you can see, when it starts composing the matrix, first it starts with the B, the, and then MA, and then RIX, and then it adds letters as you go along, and then it withdraws those letters as you're watching, right? But then it leaves you with the M, right? It leaves you with the M. What is the M? M, you may think it's the matrix. What they mean by the matrix is really masonry, is Freemasonry. So the M is really masonry. So throughout the movie, when you're watching information about the matrix and what I'm going to tell you, it's really masonry, Freemasonry. I think if you count the letter of the matrix, it'll also come up to the same number of letters as Mason, right? Or Masonry. Matrix, as you know, is like a composition of numbers, boxes, 2-dimensionals, 3-dimensionals, and there are mathematical operations that are performed on those numbers. So when you're in a matrix, you're just a number, right? You're just one of that numbering system. So a dimensional, 2-dimensional, or 1-dimensional matrix is really, say, number, right? And they all, and then the 2-dimensional will be like 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, and so on. And then matrix is really the basis for a lot of certain calculations, such as tensor calculus or multi-variable integrals and so on, or differentials, and the matrix is just, don't disregard that. If you want to learn mathematics, that's that. But in the masonry or the matrix, you're just a number, or as Pink Floyd put it, a brick in the wall. But they will show you what happens there. You never hear about it, but they will show you here what it is. Okay, so here, obviously, there is a watch. Those who are inside the matrix, I just mentioned, and they're probably in millions, or maybe in the billion. I don't know. I don't think so, but they're probably in the hundreds of millions um, worldwide, and they watch others, those that are not of the matrix, and they watch others. They're specialized people who watch those inside the matrix as well. So here, apparently, they're talking about certain someone. Uh, let's say Neo, right? I'll explain to you what I think that is. Uh, so there is a schedule, right? To 1998, I think you get like, if you add that up, you will get something like 119. That may be significant for some people per their dharma or whatnot. 13, 24, 18 as well. You can add the 13 and 24 and 18, and you come up with a certain supposedly magical number or whatever it is. But above all, it is a schedule. There is a mission here. The Matrix is explaining a mission that starts in 1998 and ends at certain date, which they display at the end of the movie, right? Uh, Record log, right? Record, there is recording. So somebody is being watched, and that's what we're gonna know is that it is Neo.
You weren't supposed to read me. I know, but I felt like taking a shit.
So
You like watching him.
so here, Cypher is showing a side of jealousy, right? That he is this awkward individual, unfit, and he's jealous, and he feels he is in competition with this particular woman who is called Trinity, and so on and so forth. But he's throughout the movie, he is shown to be an awkward individual and treacherous as well, and so on. However, as you will come to learn, he will tell you the truth about what's going on. He will inform you of really what's going on, the truth, and so on and so forth. So here, what you could see is there's number 3, and then there's they start with 5, and 5, as we know, there's the 5 and then the 6. The 5 stands for whatever, and the 6 stands for whatever.
We're gonna kill him. Understand that?
Now he threatens, we're gonna kill him, right? So he says we're gonna kill him. What does that mean, really? That means eventually you will come to discover in the movie that if he is Neo has been brought in to be killed, basically. That's what Cypher is saying. And Cypher, by the way, means 0. It is Arabic for 0, Sifr or Cypher, right? Or doing mathematics, because those numbers and mathematics are Arabic stuff, right? So Cypher apparently here in this movie is an illustration of probably, I think I will show you later, evidence that in this movie they probably mean Muhammad or the Arabs, right? Trinity means Mary, mother of Jesus. And I will explain the others later on. But as you watch here, when you see the 5, right? When you see the 5 appear on the screen here, right there, you begin to see 5s here and there, right? Another 5 appears, so there's 2 5s, 2 and 5 and 5, right? What does that mean? That means an epoch in time, I believe. First there was a 5, and then there was a 6, or something of the sort. And now you get yourself 5 5 5, right? And then here you see the 5s. This column now turns into 5s, right? This is significant here. I'll explain it to you in a second. And then here, now you're going to see the 6, right? Right? You're going to see the 6. And then you're going to see 6. Another 9, right? And then space. So there's 5, and then there's space, and there's 6. What this movie, there are the various parties of this movie are your demonic entities, and then there are the angels, right? So the angels are supposedly on the side of God or Allah. The demons are on their own or led by Morpheus, right? So Morpheus has established his own hidden world and so on. This here is, and then the third world is really the humans that are us, and then that's apparently where Masonry is. So Masonry is the common, or Matrix is the common existence, right, among all. But within it, there are two hidden worlds. One is the agents, which are Agent Smith, which is angels, right? And then there is, of course, the Morpheus, which are the demon world. Uh, and I will show you more evidence later. So now here, they move through the matrix by way, apparently, of wormholes, wormholes traveling from one dimension into another, right? So they are interdimensional. So there's the dimension of the matrix, and that's everybody in there. It's like the square, five-pointed square or whatnot, right? Or humanity, you go to the market, you go here and there, where life is governed by rules and so on. What they mean by that is really the word of, or the rule of God, right? Or Allah. And they are the rebellious angels, supposedly. They are the demons or rebellious angels. So these two realms, they travel through wormholes or through interdimensionally. Here, you're going to see that in a second. And that's what that illustrates. When you see that, here, see now they're going through. They're traveling. They're hopping from one dimension into another. As you saw there, I'm going to miss some of the stuff. Of course, you saw some like sparks moving up and down, electrical sparks or whatnot moving up and down the walls. All right. So apparently the angels, or God's angels, that's the realm of the angels, those who are still on the side of God or still operate by God's will. And there is the Morpheus, that is the rebellious angel, represented by Zion. Whenever you see police and law enforcement, that's on the side of God, rules and law enforcement and so on and so forth. That's what makes life as we know it. Morpheus is after something else, and he and his Zion are after anarchy. Anarchy, anarchy and loss of rule of law and so on and so forth. So here, apparently, the angels discovered a hideout for the rebellious angels, or those who form or those who the composition or elements in Zion itself. As you can see, you're going to see those again. This looks to me like a masonry thing, there's that pyramid shape. Of course, I know they're flashlights, but you're going to see those again. So there's 1, 2, 3, and then there's that eye, and then there's the beam, diverging beam and refracting beam. Now, as you can see here, it may not show right away, but what you're going to see is a rundown building whereby those rebellious angels or demons or jinns, right? Jinns, they dwell into a rundown places, and that's where they hide and do their business and so on. So as you can see, the room here is 303. Whenever you see 0 in this movie or other movies as well, that's a space. So it's 3 space 3. And that's the 2 triangles, which means that's Zion, right? So if you put 2 triangles opposite each other, you will get the what's called the Star of David. It's not the Star of David, but that's what they're using, and that's what they're denoting. And it also means 6. 3 by 3 is 9, or 3 plus 3 is 6, right? But here, the 0 is space, really. So this is a hideout for Zion in the matrix, or in this life, is what they're making an assumption of. What they're making an assumption of is really that the matrix is I am understanding that here in the movie to be masonry, but as a matter of fact, it could also mean that they are making the assumption that it's life as we know it. Not everybody is Mason. The vast majority on this planet are not Masonics. So here you will see on the wall where it says city hoarding. City hoarding means that's where they hoard information and around the city, so they know the Zion knows everything around about people in the city. They're constantly monitoring and watching people, and for a number of reasons. You will see some of that later. But I want you to observe, okay, so you got your 2, 4, 6. So there's the number 6 here. So this is a 6, right? City hoarding, and there's number 6. And then pay attention to the monitor of the laptop. So there are now four lights. So there are 4 police officers. Here, as you can see, where she's in a rundown hotel, right? So here, I did count the lights on the sides. So the E is always turned off. So H, and then there's E, and there's art. Heart. I don't know what's the HE art, art of hiding or something of the sort. On the side, those light bulbs are 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 5. And of course, the blocks, and the blocks here are, of course, obviously, they denote something. I do not know what. So, heart of the city hotel. But if you look closely, I don't know, you missed it probably, right? It says hourly rate. Who would want to go to a hotel for 1 hour? Get it? So this may sound funny to you that, when people wants to cheat, or when a prostitute, does her business, she rents a hotel and then an hour and so on and so forth. You will see that in Eyes Wide Shut, when Tom Cruise he was walking out on the screen, on the street, and then he's approached by a prostitute, and he's taken inside a rented room where that lady is, and she does her business for money, whatever, right? But here it's more sinister than that. What that is going to, I'm going to tell you about that later, but that's what this is, right? Hourly rate, why would you want to go into a hotel for 1 hour? So I did add, actually, there is a 7, right? And then there is the 8, 5, 8. You will come to see that 7, whether in Kubrick's movies or any of those iconic movies, 7 means 7 heavens, 7 heavens, 7 heavens. And then there's, of course, 7 earths, or 7 layers of earth, right? So here's 7, and then 8 by 8, or 8 plus 8, 16, 5, 21. So these are the angels that are 21. So there is angels of heavens, 21, and there are 3 of them, right? And there's, of course, red lights, Now here, you will see, if you look here, across the street here, that sign says Kung Fu. You will come to realize that within this movie, there's plenty about Chinese or Eastern or Mongols or something of the sort. They're talking probably about alliances that are going on now or happening now. Okay, throughout the movie, these would be the angels, right? And Morpheus would be the demons. But if you look here, the looks of these guys, right, shows me that they are type Germanic type. They're Germans. I'm looking at Germans here. Now they may not be themselves, right? But that's what it does look to me. That these angels of heavens are actually Germanics, right? So what did he say? Right? He says, we say, oh God, right? So that's what he's talking about here. He's looking at them because he works for them. This is the rule of law. This is the norms, humanity, blah, blah, and so on and so forth. So when they say, oh, so and so, like he said here, the worship, they're talking about the master upstairs, not here, but, like our God in heavens. But this is of course I'm appalled by that, but that's what he means. So whenever somebody in that movie says oh so and so, they're really talking about God, and that's all there's to it.
Sometimes you were given specific orders. Hey, I'm just doing my job. You give me that jurist my diction. You'll be cramming up your ass.
Juris, my diction, cram it up your ass. Jurisdiction, meaningly they come from heaven, right? So this guy is actually, while he's doing his job, he really hates that, upstairs architect or God or Allah or something like that. So he has resentment, if you will, and resentment is well known in this movie. I will show you the source of it.
The orders were for your protection. I think we can handle one little girl.
So there goes the Germans.
I sent 2 units. They're bringing her down now. Only sons your men are already dead.
So as you saw, it's also the same hotel they just went into. So now I have a problem here. Like I said, my set is not exactly, but if you observe the monitor, right, you will see that it is the same file that will be reviewed by Agent Smith when he interrogates or try to subdue Neo. So what she has on the screen on that laptop now is precisely the same. So that is actually going to undercut or undermine the what appears to be in the movie as certain antagonism when it's really friendship. Okay. So here, it's very obvious what this is. That man in the uniform, that police officer, is a human being. Trinity, on the other hand, is a one-eyed monster, meaning she is a fallen angel, she is a rebellious angel, or a demon, or as we Muslims call it, jinn. So she is not a human, she is, appearing as a human. And you will see that. So the one eye here, that's what that is saying. That this woman here, Trinity, is really not a human being. And as you can see, she's showing the abilities, supernatural abilities. In fact, she's going to walk on walls here as she's fighting. She's going to avoid bullets. She's going to walk on walls, and she's going to beat all 4 of them, even though she's unarmed. The phone number on the phone on the wall, I think it's 0156 or something of the sort. So as you saw, she walked on the wall, she ran on the wall, and that's not a humanistic, that's not a human thing. Humans don't walk on walls. Now, if you want to rent a twin bed, it's $25 or or $15 for single.
More case. -3.
As you can see, the monitor on the screen is showing that exactly that file that will be used by Agent Smith later.
Now,
I know. Become the hard line. There's no time. You're gonna have to get your mother.
All right, here, if you look at Trinity, I don't know if that's the same woman or Trinity, or I don't know her name, real name, actress name. But this here, see, for me, that's the stare of a demon, non-human. So could the actress herself be not human or not be human? That's there for me. If you have a good resolution on this screen, or if you look at your TV, you will see that screen, that stare is not the stare of a human. And she's looking at you directly. She's looking at the camera directly.
God damn it.
She cursed God, right? You know, so what that tells you is she's the one against God. And she's part of Zion. Wells and Lake. What's with Wells and Lake? Now, these are two streets in here in Chicago where I live. I live in the suburbs of Chicago. Westmont is where I'm making this video. However, here Wells and Lake means some place. Maybe somewhere in the Middle East, maybe somewhere. I cannot tell you. But wells and lake, there are wells and there's a lake, right? So where is that at? In Africa, in the Middle East, in Russia, somewhere. It's a place where they really gather and hide.
All right.
That stare is not stare of a human. So 156 is the telephone number. She's surrounded. Now there's an indication here of involvement of a third party. I want to show you that. And, so as you can see, here there's a gun, right? A sign that has a gun, and then the gun is producing smokes. But here, the phone number is 161. What is 161? Let me show you what 161 is. 161, excuse me for a second. Okay, 161 is this. The 161, this is the flag of Zion, not the one that is horizontal. This flag was adopted as the flag of Zion in the Theodor Herzl conference in Basel, I think, Switzerland. That was the flag. So this is 1, and this is 6, and this is 1, right? So that's 161. So the 161 Zion now is using a gun to fire at the agents as they're following or chasing Trinity, right? Here, Trinity is being chased by all on her own, being chased as an individual part of Zion. She is, of course, a fallen angel, and she's being chased by the angels or agents, right? Who look German, and their police as well. And then, but the Zion, which has presence here and there and seen, they fire back at the agents, so they're trying to protect her. I don't know what guns mean. When you're a demon or you're an angel, guns don't work on you, right? They're converging on here, as you can see. So now, what I'm trying to think is she left the laptop. I don't see the laptop on here, so maybe it was confiscated by the agents. I don't know. So both of them, the officer is really a human being like myself, right? But he, this Germanic guy, and she, Jewish woman, that is Trinity. They are performing feats that are not possible for humans. That's why he said that's impossible. You know, who's going to jump that far out, right? So as you can see here, it's like a clock here. So that's like either 3 o'clock or 2:59. I'm going to start pausing the video, so I will only comment on the important parts. Okay, so here you will notice something on the agents as well as on some of Zion, right? The angels and demons. You will see that including Neo, including some the agents, including Trinity, including others as well, right? Only those that are fighting as Zion or as angels. I don't know what it is, even if it's like a male or a female, they always have lipstick, red lipstick on their lips. Why is that? I don't know. Could that be due to the Makowskis, or whatever their name is, having something in mind about that? Or does it denote anything? I think what it denotes is that these are not humans. That's all it's denoting. They don't have gender or sex, because as we know that angels from my religion Islam, and much of these are actually taken from that religion, all these ideas and so on and so forth, were twisted and were generated into something new that is really not real, right? So we know that angels don't have a gender. So here, that reminds me of another scene from another movie called Duel by Dennis Weaver for Spielberg, right? Spielberg, Dennis Weaver, Duel, that car and that truck, and you would see the truck and the bridge. The bridge, there's a bridge, but that denotes a cave, some kind of a cave, and the truck emerging from it, if you recall from that movie. There's something about caves and bridges and trucks that the Spielbergs, that the Gokowskis, that the Kubrick and others, have something in mind about bridges in dark places that things emerge out from. Uh, just beyond me, right? But that's what it is. So now the truck here says city waste, right? City waste. They have this consideration uh, that either angels and demons don't consider others as city waste, or there's something to it here. We leave it up to them to think whatever it is. That's a hiding place. That's where Trinity runs into. And whenever they're using the telephone landline, that's in this world. Whenever they use cellular phone, right, that's in their mind. They're using some kind of a interdimensional communications that is not electric, or that's not digital, or that's not analog, or whatever it is. That's when they're talking apparently by their own voice and language that is different in different dimension. But when they use the phone, right, that's the communication of Earth, right? That's the communication of humans on Earth. And there's a television here, right?
She head out. Listen, Maya, the informant is you.
Okay. So I want to bring something up to you about angels and demons. Dan Brown, as you know, wrote a book about angels and demons. I didn't read it, but I have a different opinion, or I have a very good opinion about what he's talking about. You know, that there's this struggle between the two, and that there is a jockeying for dominance and control and rule and so on. Uh, and this is an eternal war, is as they say. So that's where the idea of concept doesn't come from Dan Brown, but Dan Brown gets it from the same sources as the makers of this movie. Or I doubt that these two guys wrote this movie. I think there are more people involved in Zion itself who wrote this script, and then the Kokokowskis made an assumption or took it up as and made it as a movie. They were tasked in making it as a movie.
We have the name of that next time.
So they apparently, the angels have tap on their phone lines or their communications.
Who is you?
Neo. I struggled a little bit with Neo first. First, it sounded to me like neophyte, but apparently at one point it was associated or attached to Nebuchadnezzar, Nebuchadnezzar, who is was the king of Babylon, who was in fact considered as the king of earth. I'll explain more about that. That's where this idea comes from, really, is Babylon, as narrated in certain books that we know of. Babylon is the source, the main source of this movie. That's where angels and demons are, and they started fighting, and apparently that's what they're talking about here. So Neo is neophyte, right? Or Neo is Nebuchadnezzar, or Neo is new. I read the definition of that, and it turned out to be new, right? New. So he's a new thing. We're still easing into the easy stuff. We're still moving along the easy stuff. It'll get a little bit disturbing later. So here you will watch something. As they approach the phone, you're going to see there are 6 holes here, around 6 holes, right? And then if you count that, that's more like a Zion communication system, or human communication system, or Zion communication system. But if you look closer, as the camera zooms by, you will see there is a smaller hole within the bigger hole. Now, if I freeze the frame here, I am seeing an eye. An eye. There's an eye here. It's very obvious, right?
Already begun.
And as you saw, they moved from one dimension into another. So the search is happening. This particular scene is extremely important. Pay attention to me. Morpheus eludes police at Heathrow Airport. I'm going to take a little bit of time here and explain this. So I'm going to try to, being here in Chicago, being a computer guy, and having moved to Chicago just a few months prior to making this movie. So I'm going to try to be important here. I'm going to put myself in this movie. But here, if you look closely, right, it says there is a dialogue between Assad. Assad was the dictator of Syria. Not this particular one now. They're both butchers, right? But the father, the one who ascended by military coup to power in Syria in 1971, right? Well, he was there unofficially as a controller of the government behind the scene, but eventually he emerged and took the reins of the government himself, right? And then the butchery began. right? So now he's talking about speaking of opposition. And then there is a name of a certain Lebanese president at that point whose name is Harawi. So he says that they're talking to Harawi. These two, there is a role for Christian or agreement between them and the Christian is a matter of time. Here they don't mean Christians, here they mean Zion. The newspaper is a Lebanese newspaper. It says An-Nahar, which means the day. Now here, so apparently this Assad, right, or donkey, Assad is in fact one of the elements of this movie, one of the undeclared players in this movie. The characters of this movie being portrayed here is he was one of them. So now here, there is a statement in black. Why in black? I don't know. It says مقتل القائم بالأعمال العراقي وسبعة آخرين في عمان. Now, I don't recall that anything like that happened in Amman, Jordan. What that says is the assassination of the Sharjah, the affair of Iraq in Amman, right? And 7 others in Amman. So I took that, as at face value and moved on. But it still bothered me. So I came back here and looked at it again. That Assad, the father of this one, was in Amman at one point prior to 1998 or a little bit before or something of the sort. And he got sick right afterwards. He was cancered up. So we all thought, and so, well, at least I have all the reasons to believe that when he went to Amman is when they got, they got him to eat something and then, they killed him. They assassinated him slowly. So he was cancered up. And there was a purpose for that. But below on the second line, I see here something else. It says سبعة آخرين or 7 others in Amman. But the way it's spelled here, everything is word, right? So everything is a word. Give me a second. Except this, right? Right? Says wa. This is a digit, right? But it also resembles something called al. Right? L-A. Right? Then it dawned on me and I saw it. Here it says and. Al-Akhras, right? Or Al-Akras. Who's that? Right? Who's that? So Al-Akhras, it turns out to be that the son, right? Not the older Assad, but this one, the one that is ruling Syria now, blood and fire, right? Was engaged to a woman in English woman. That English woman is originally from Homs, Syria. Their parents, right? Not from Homs, around it. Homs, Syria, that's where I come from, right? And that's where the Assads are. So it's really around Syria and Lebanon. Why Neo or Keanu Reeves is because he was born in the vicinity in Beirut as well. So if there's a triangle, I'm going to put myself in there, right? So that's me, and that's Keanu Reeves, and that's Bashar, and then there is the Akhras. The Akhras, so apparently when the Akhras was in Amman, who is the either the wife now of the current dictator, or probably her father, right? How is that relevant to the killing or poisoning of the father? I do not know, but that's relevant. Here, apparently, the father, Asad father, has been poisoned to be killed in order to put or place his son to inherit his rule of Syria. And it happened in the year 2000, which is just about the end of that movie, or that stint or that schedule of subjugation ended. The guy came back to Syria and took over. All right, so that's very important here. They're talking about the Asads, and they're talking about the Akhras or Akras. And here it's like a little bit distorted, so you won't be able to decipher it or spot it. But for me, it's no mystery. First, I took it at face value. I read it as is, but then I came back and then realized that that's what they're talking about. Now, why did they say the Sharjah, the affair of Iraq? Because the family, Assad family, is really, they're not, that's not their last name. Their last name is the Beast. And it's been said they came from Iraq, right? So apparently the Kukukowskis know something about that. So the family is from Iraq, right? And then came to Syria. So that's what they're saying. They killed the father who was really from Iraq, right? All right, let's go on. This particular scene is very important. Okay, here is Neo, right? Like I told you, Neo was born in Beirut. This guy, Keanu Reeves. And I was born like about, 90 miles away from him, from Beirut, in Homs City, Homs. That's the capital of the revolution. And then the Assad that is almost, that's also portrayed in this movie, were born not too far from there. So it's like in the Levant area. We all were born in the Levant area. I think that's why Keanu Reeves got that role. It's really because he was born in that country. All right. So here I look at him, the face and so on. He reminds me of another side, of another scene. If you know mummies, and there is a bog mummies of Europe, and there is a certain mummy that is still preserved intact, or for over, I don't know, thousands of years in Europe, called bog mummy somewhere, and then he still have like a leather hat and then something on his face. The eyes and the nose and so on, they look alike. And here, Neo being asleep means he's just asleep. He's not initiated. He's not awakened. He's just asleep, right? And sleep in movies also means, or in the speech of these two angels and demons, sleep means either unawakened or his guard is down, right? His guard is down. That's what that means here. And he is up for a surprise now. I'll tell you what that is. Here, his computer is being scanned. Not just his computer being scanned. Here, the guy is being scanned, like really scanned. His records, his speech, his documents, his relationships, his interactions, his predilections, his responses. This guy is being really, really recorded and thoroughly researched. Manhunt underway. So here, they say it's Morpheus. I don't think they mean Morpheus here, but I could be wrong. They're looking, those Morpheuses of Zion, rabbis of Zion, they're looking for someone, right? And that someone apparently is supernatural. As you can see, 5'7", again, 5, I don't know, that's like whatever. And then there's the 7. He's surrounded by all kind of electronics, that's his business, that's what he does. And that's what they're searching. As you can see, there's rotation and roll of the camera, and meaningly here, he's being looked at from above, right? Oh God, right? And his angels are looking at him, like they're scanning him too. It's not just, so here, he's being looked at by the two dimensions. The one that is angels, those look Germanic looking agents, and they're called agents, right? Angels, right? of God, and then there is the Zion. So there is apparently some kind of a fight or contention, turf fight on this guy here. He's being monitored. His computers are monitored by Zion, and he is looked at from above. Wake up, Neo. So they got to him first, right? Or they think he wakes up. Uh-oh.
What?
What? The Matrix has you. I really honestly don't know what that means, but what she means is maybe the Matrix, or as I explained, Matrix means masonry, or the creation of God. That is this world, humanity, and they have actually rebelled, and they set up their own underground thing, right? Uh, so has you meaningly they're locked on you, locked and loaded, right? And they wanna pick him up, seize him. They wanna like the angels and God or agents, right? They want to seize him. God's agents or angels, they want to seize him. They're focusing on him. Pair the search, as Agent Smith said, we'll need a search, and he said the search has already begun, and the informant is real. What the hell? So now he's mentioning what the hell. Hell here means the side of Morpheus. What is Morpheus? Morpheus to me means this. I heard that it is a certain god of dreams in Greek literature. There was no Greek literature 1500 years ago. This must have been later. Or, to me, it sounds like morph. Morph, we used to use that in computers to make, like you can use it in certain graphic manipulation programs. So you take an image and you take another and you move one into another. So it seems as if there's shifting. So to me, Morpheus is a shapeshifter, and he's a devil. That's what it seems to me to be, Control X, he's trying to cut them off. Follow the white rabbit. There's like a song called if you want to ride a white pony and stuff. Follow the white rabbit. Now he's mesmerized. Somebody tells me that, I would probably feed them a live rabbit right there and then. What does that mean? Escape. He pressed the letter escape here. He's trying to escape from the situation. Knock, knock, you. He realizes something is wrong. Something's not right.
Who is it?
Can't question it now.
Yeah.
So Choi is a Jewish name. Chewy or Choi. All right, this scene is very important. 101. So 101, coincidentally, my apartment is 101. I told you 119, the building number is 109, and the apartment number is 101. And the street is 55th. I kid you not, I was searching all over for an apartment, and this is the first one, or the only one that seems feasible, but it was not intended. I don't know. All right, but what is 101? 101 is good and evil, I think. Sometimes it denotes good and evil. But here, the prophet forbade one of his companions to pray the dawn, before dawn prayer, when the sun just rises up the horizon. Why? Because he said, and I quote, the tradition is there, and they took it from him. He said, the sun rises between the two horns of the devil, right? So the 0 here is the sun, and the 1 and 1 is really the 2 horns, right? So here, this denotes devil, right? I'm a human being, I swear. I know, I bleed and all. Or it was intentionally done to hurt me because I looked at different places. There was a place where I signed up for the apartment and they kicked me, after they accepted me, they returned the processing fee and so on and so on and said, we don't want you, like we can't take you. And I realized that somebody behind the scene, in the other dimension, that's Zion, was hurting me into this particular apartment. Why? I'm not going to tell you because I found out later. Uh, uh, Something similar to here, but I'm not going to say. Maybe I'll give a hint later. So now 101, like I said, this is a sign of the Satan or the devil. And sometimes you see it as per the Masonics. So now he's sitting here in the matrix and he's not part of the matrix. Why? Because here, whenever you see like two chairs and then something in the middle like a table shorter, or two tall things and something in the middle, that's masonry, that's the devil, right? That's the horns of the devil, or the sun rises between the horns of the devil. Where do you see that? You see that in different movies, one of which is also Dune. At the end, Dennis Weaver's, toward the end, at the end of the movie, the sun is right behind him, right, denoting that he is the devil, or Morpheus, or Dennis Weaver, or Spielberg. And then there he's like stoning, throwing stones, that stoning of the devil in Mecca, right? So that's what they mean by Dennis Weaver, then that's what they're trying to mean by this particular guy here. Okay, this is very important as well. So here, if you look at him, the eye is looking tilted. Usually they portray devils, if they want to draw them, they portray their eyes as tilted, not like straight like us humans, right? Their eyes are tilted from both sides, from the end up and from the end up. But he is the key. See, he's the lock and the key. So here is Neo, which they're portraying him to be, I don't know, maybe is Hazel or someone of the sort. And that he, Neo, is really the key to enter, right? So he's the key for things. That's the illustration here. It looks old, yes, but look here, right? That's him, and that's that, right?
You're 2 hours late.
I know.
So I'm looking at those guys. I don't think they're illustrated here as humans. These are not humans. If you look at this guy, I mean, the way he's staring, and the woman, and Joey, and they're Jews, obviously, but this guy is European. This guy is like Russian, European, Middle Eastern, something of the sort. She's something like Iranian, right?
Her fault. Got the money.
Notice that one. That one is like a priestess. She has something on her face. They look in anything but normal. They're frolicking, and notice how she is trying to seduce him by her lips, how she's pouting her lips and so on and staring at him. And they are all projecting on him, trying to kind of scare him off or put him into a certain psychological state. $2,000. This may be 2 million or probably more than that. I'll explain why. So here, behind his hand, there is a sign that says either back or rack. I really don't know. All right, simulacra and simulation. Sorry for the quality of the video. But here you will notice he's got that book, Simulacra and Simulation, and there is a magazine here. The magazine is showing a boy, small boy. Small boy also in front of a computer. What does that mean? That means few things to me. That means that although he's sitting in front of a computer, his psyche or mentality is that of a child. He's awake. He's not awakened, right? Sometimes we function as children unless we break through and begin to understand our surroundings and read the omens and you understand? The other thing is that there, his son is his son. His son, that boy there, right? That boy there, you will see him again. I am guessing, and I hope not, that his name is Zaid. I hope not. What is simulacra and simulation? John Baudrillard, simulacra and simulation. My daughter Hannah wrote it for me, and I'm gonna make a video on it, like in this series, in this playlist. But I'm gonna give you a heads up. Much of the movie, not all, but much of the movie is really taken from this. And this book is taken from another book. I'll read you. The first line you read, or the first paragraph you read, it says, "The simulacrum is never what hides the truth. It is the truth that hides the fact that there is none. The simulacrum is true." Right? And he says Ecclesiastes. That is a quote from Ecclesiastes. So I went and read Ecclesiastes. Sure enough, he took it from Ecclesiastes. This book, folks, and so is Ecclesiastes, is the bottom of filth. This here, if you adhere to it and you're left alive, right, you will be Jeffrey Epstein, David Berkowski or Son of Sam, Loeb and Leopold, Stalin, Ayatollah, Assad, Lenin, Hitler, Jeffrey Dahmer, John Wayne Gacy, you name it, folks. Bin Laden, Baghdadi, Saddam Hussein, and I can go on and on and on. This here, folks, I have yet to read any book that is as disturbing as this book. What it intends to make out of human beings. Oh man. This here, folks, this here is disturbing. If you thought other books are disturbing, this here is one disturbing book. It's not enough for it to kill and destroy human. Not enough. It goes way beyond that. It considers human. It never lets you die. It puts you in total torment. It cuts you apart. It destroys you. And some of that movie is taken from here. I will mention that to you. Simulacra and simulation. What is simulacra? Simulacra is dissimulation, right? You lose your human personality, pull backward, and become something terrible, right? You're willing to do anything, slippery personality, and it could also mean magic. Simulation. That book, folks, if you read it, and it has an undertone in it, right? It speaks for certain particular people. Who are those people? He is telling you here that it is Zion. All right. So the chapter is the last chapter, nihilism. N for nihilism. And he's looking for something here. You may not see it, but what he just picked up is disc 067. 67? Why does that sound so familiar? 67? 1967? Disc 67? And then just prior to that, just shortly prior to that, they mentioned the name of Assad, the father. It was him. So here, Neo is multiple personality. He's the one in Chicago, or supposedly a devil, or possessed by a devil, right? But he doesn't know. It's also Assad, the father, that he, Neo, this Neo here, right, in Chicago, I swear to God, now I'm saying this is not me, facilitated 1967, 60 war for Israel, or for Zion, right? So 1967, and Assad, and money. That's why I'm saying this is not $2,000. This is probably 2 million. This is probably 20 million. I don't know, you know. But it is very obvious, and now we know from history that Assad, the father, really cooperated with the Israelis or Zion to give Golan Heights to Israel and then basically they focused on Egypt and here and there and there. He was actually the reason. Hafiz al-Assad was the reason for the 1967 Israel war, right? Shawi is going to tell you that. Give me a second.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
My Savior.
You are my Savior, mine. You are my personal Jesus Christ. Now I searched. Anderson is the Son of Man. That's what they call Jesus, Son of Man. What does that mean? That means this guy here is either Jesus or a personality that is also portrayed as Jesus, right? Remember Mel Gibson's movie about the devil and so on? You know, the Mother Mary and her son that is not normal, blah, 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 blah. So to them, that personality, which is the 101, and you know, the tilted eye and the dark eye, is really also Jesus. So Mr. Anderson, Anderson means Son of Man, right? Look at how these guys are looking at him. He says, you're my personal Jesus, right? My savior. Meaning in 1967, Hafiz al-Assad was responsible for the continuation and existence of Israel, period. That's how Israel won the war, because Hafiz al-Assad and two others as well. That's basically stifled the whole front, and we got some money for it. More than that, actually.
I'm the person of Jesus Christ.
You get caught using that. I know, it's never happened. You don't exist. Something wrong there? And you look a little...
So I saw something here. I don't know what that is. If you look at that guy, right? That guy. He's carrying some kind of a iron stick. It does look like, you know, it does look like I thought it was a fireplace poker. But the fireplace poker has like a devil's tail. I don't know. I mean, what that is, I really couldn't tell. I don't know. I really don't know. Now, if you look at them, you will see like there are two girls and two boys and one transgender. That's this guy. And these are not humans. Just to be sure, they're not humans. Again, Choy is a Jewish name, and they're different races from different nations. Here, I want you to see something. And when he opened the door, you will see it throughout. This eye, the right eye, and the left eye. The left eye is normal like human. This eye will always be glossy dark, right? Very glossy and dark, like really dark. First, I thought it was a lighting issue. Camera, lighting, you know, effects. No, that was intentional. What he's trying to say, you know, the tilted eye and the key and the dark eye here and the 101 and so on, is that what they're saying is that this is a reincarnation of that Satan or something of the sort in a human being, is what they're trying to say, that this particular individual has him. And this is not Assad. They mean by that someone else, really, the guy in Chicago. So here, this scene showed Neo taking different roles. One as Assad, getting money and securing the 1967 for Israel, not giving shit about his people, or well, they're not his people. So it shows you that he was poisoned. It shows you that his son was being readied, and so on. Right? You know, you can like sort out so much out of this scene, particular scene. So this guy here, apparently through him, they secured the win of 1967 by way of Assad, right? So apparently this guy, or Satan influenced Assad, has influence on Assad, the father, who, and with some money, of course, they gave the 1967 as a gift for Israel, well, for exchange of money as well, and they showed you that. What is nihilism? Nihilism in that book is something awful, folks. Nihilism means nothingness. Nihilism means, I looked it up, look it up. It means dislocation and dissolve. You know, when he was listening to the music as he was asleep, it was dissolved girl, dissolution. It's dissolution. The guy is just has apparently no ethics, no humanity in him. He's just dissolved. It's called nihilism. So some nihilism is interpreted as when you die, that's it, it's over. You're into nihilism. Some describe it as disconnection from anything. No principles, no ethics, no ideals. You just become like a worm or a leech on other humans. That's all. That's what nihilism means, and he's propagating that. Excuse me. So as you saw, this is beginning to look interesting now, right? And you get more meanings.
You cheated with.
Now he's dumb, right?
You ever have that feeling where you're not sure if you're awake or still dreaming?
All the time. It's all messed up.
See?
You notice again.
It just sounds to me like maybe.
Notice how they're projecting on him. Psychologically, if you got 5 people waiting, looking at you, right? With meanings and so on and so forth, they're really affecting your position.
Look, man. You know, get some more on what?
Notice the eye. That right eye is so dark and black and glossy, while the left eye is just that of a human.
I think we should shoot something nice.
Definitely.
I can't. I have work tomorrow.
Why? It'll be fun. I promise.
She showed him that intentionally. Now that white rabbit looks weird to me, you know, the eyes and so on and so forth. How often somebody tells you to follow a white rabbit and tumble down a hole, and you do that? If you do that, you're really dumb. Now, if you watch the movie on your own screen, high definition, you will see that what I'm talking about the eyes. Notice the right eye is so dark and devil type, and the left eye is just plain human eye.
Sure. Okay.
That's pretty dumb. Alright. Last time you will see those people here is in this scene. Those people that came to smoke him out of his hide, right? So what these guys did is really fish him out, smoke him out of his corner of sleep, of security, of coziness, of they just like coerced him out, you know, coaxed him out. And that's how they live, right? They're not humans or devils in humans. So they think. There you go, all kind of signals here. And they're in cages. Dissolution, nihilism. I want you to look closely at Choi. He does a certain gesture that you will find out that is also a key word for this movie. He puts a cigarette in his mouth, and somebody else lights it up for him. But here, you don't see it here. You will see it on your screen. He is looking at the camera. He is looking at us now. He's looking at the camera, looking at you. What that means is, Neo is here now. Light him up. Burn him, right? So Neo is in not to be treated for white rabbit or whatever. Neo is in to be burnt. Now here you will see that on that screen up here, you know, it's a blue language. You know, it's a digital language. That means that's what these guys are. That's what they talk about. But down back there, you see that little girl back there between the two? She's wearing 2 horns, right? So she's a devil. At one point, she stares at the camera. So she's a devil. She has like 2 horns of the devil, and she's sitting under that blue screen with gibberish signal and so on. I cannot figure out those graffitis. Uh-oh. I tell you what, I'm gonna stop here. But from here on, there is definitely a lot to say. And I'm gonna make a video about simulacra and simulation, so you will know the source. There are multiple sources. I will show you another source. Let me show you the other source. This here is a Morpheus. Yes, he's a Morpheus. And he's an Egyptian. He's long dead. I don't know how long ago, but he's been dead, and he's been about. This here is not 4 years ago. The sermon or the lecture is many years back. I think it's even before the Matrix movie. This here, I watched this. It's an hour and 28 minutes. I'm going to leave it on the screen for a little bit. Quite few concepts, including the bullet not hitting, or assimilation, or position, or devils of Babylon, and so on. That confirms, few points actually do confirm to the movie. I am wondering sometimes if they taken some stuff from him. But no, the Kokokowskis and the Morpheuses and this Morpheus are on the same page. And maybe they communicate with each other by that way. So I will probably make another video in this series also explaining what he's talking about here. All right, so that's good for now. We've done only 10 minutes out of the movie, and it's like already an hour and 17 minutes. Have a nice day. This is number 2, and today is February 12th. Bye now. See you next time in the next video.